Good morning, Tucson, Arizona, and Pima County. This is Tom Cortese, the co-host of the Fresh Start International radio show with Damon T. Holt, the CEO of Fresh Start International, with my guest co-host today, William Bryant, who's becoming a regular on the show, and we're going to bring him in a minute, but we wanted to make a couple of announcements. The Rally for Reentry is something that John Jefferson from the firm has been putting together for some time. And the firm is the Former Inmate Reentry Manual. And John is a chaplain up there in Pinal County, and he's been, putting together the resources that people need, because if you have a little booklet, housing, job,
Absolutely.
mental health, right? You go right to it. It's a little Rolodex, right? And I think that's what he's trying to do. But the Rally for Reentry is what he's trying to bring all of the people that have to do with reentry together so we can start focusing our efforts and being more focused in certain areas.
Okay.
So, William Bryant, would you please tell everybody what you witnessed last Saturday at the Fresh Start Clinic at Goodwill of Southern Arizona? Thanks to Lance Meeks and Karen and the whole staff out there, man, because we could not have done this without them, because they are some hardworking people. They are wonderful people that are they put on a really, really nice event.
Absolutely.
We had,
Absolutely.
man, hundreds, right?
Yes.
Come through there. We had a little bit of a difficulty with the city court changing over their server at like 11 a.m. So we were only able to work with city court from 9 to 11, but we were able to work with justice court all day. But that didn't stop the city court from helping people set up for when the servers came back on. And you witnessed it. Please tell people about what Saturday was like.
That event from last year, it seems just how it builds. And it's kind of oddly enough, T just received a letter from one of his buddies that he know. What the letter had emphasized basically is what we striving for now, which is a fresh start in the aspect of Goodwill. Goodwill put on for the city. They put all the way on for the city.
Yeah.
The witness of what they did last week compared to last year, it seems like they touching a little bit more sensitive areas, because some of the people that they speaking with this year, I didn't see last year, and it was more or less like, oh, well, we thought y'all wasn't for real. We thought we couldn't get these type of things.
Right.
And the amazing part about it was some of the judge was kind of personal this time, and I actually had the opportunity to talk to a couple of them. Me and Blue talked, and Judge Blue said he spoke with two guys that he has never in his life seen. And that's something that makes a guy feel like we talk about, you got a judge taking off his robe saying, I want to meet you.
Yeah.
You got a judge taking off his robe talking about, hey man, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. The impactfulness of what they did this year, it might have not been the same numbers, but it was a lot more deserving in the aspect of the people that were there.
Yeah.
You had some handicapped people there.
Yeah.
You had a couple of veterans there.
Yeah.
And that's
certainly
something that I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
The veterans program
Yes.
is something that we need to push forward moving towards Fresh Start and Goodwill.
Yeah, certainly, bro. And there's a super large percentage of the inmates that are at the Bureau of Prisons, the federal prison out on Wilmot, that are veterans. I mean, they've got a whole group of veterans in the federal prison out there that we could start working with.
I no doubt.
And I'd love to do that, because, I mean, we talk about trauma all the time.
Exactly.
Bro, a veteran, come on, man. Just going through basic training,
Yeah,
they suffer
ain't no doubt
trauma,
about it.
right?
Ain't no
And
doubt
if they
about it.
went into combat or they went into a situation, even the fact that they were thinking that they may be assigned to an area where their life would be in jeopardy is in and of itself a trauma that has to be dealt with. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing about Saturday, though, bro, was that with the judges especially, I got to talk to them, and one of the judges said, I only had one kid, that came in thinking he deserved it. Right? That he's gonna take this away. He's gonna do, and the judge said, I looked at it, and for the last year, this guy had like 22 some tickets, and took no responsibility for any of them. has not paid a dime from the first one a year ago. And that's what I tell people all the time, bro. We can't do anything about restitution. But I am telling you right now, if you made a good faith effort to pay $5 a month
Ain't no doubt.
on your restoration, that judge, you're going to get before that judge on your fines or on expungement or on seal your record, and he's going to look and he says, you have made this effort to
You made
pay
an
your
effort. Yeah,
restitution.
absolutely.
You took responsibility. I'm going
I'll
to
do the
reward
rest.
that. Right?
I'll do the rest.
I'm going to make it easier for
Absolutely.
you and take these fines away. I'm going to give you your driver's license back so you can drive to and from work. Man, bro, I'm going to quash this warrant. We quashed a whole bunch of warrants
Yeah.
the other day, bro.
Yeah.
I cannot believe there are that many people that are leaving the house every day knowing if they get pulled over, they're going to jail.
Absolutely.
How do you leave the house?
Yeah, that's frightening, man. That's frightening. And it almost brings me back to the book, Dr. Hope book,
Yeah.
Black Man Trauma.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
No, I haven't read that one.
Okay. It's that.
Yeah.
It's most definitely that. And what it really speaks about is the part you just said. Putting on your shoes, putting on your pants, getting in your car, leaving, where you know you illegal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
That trauma he was saying and throughout the book is something more or less like every day you wake up, you put your shoes on and you leave the house. What's going to happen? How scary is that to be free, but leaving your house thinking what's around the corner, what's going to happen?
Right. And
That's-
and I may not come home tonight to dinner.
Man.
And if I don't come
man.
home tonight to dinner, who's going to pay rent? You know, and what happens to my car because that's getting impounded
Sure.
and you're going to have to pay to get it out. You know, and for the period of time that you're in there, you may lose your job. You may lose your apartment.
Absolutely.
You know, and what's your wife going to do to feed the kids? You know, that's why we have these events, bro. And that's why they're blowing up because they're giving people a chance to take responsibility.
Absolutely.
And part of taking responsibility, bro, is showing up at Goodwill.
Man up.
Right?
You got to
Right.
man up, man.
You know, because you got to walk through that door and they don't
Absolutely.
know. You know, because you can't tell. There's mirrors
Heck
on those
yeah.
windows and stuff.
Heck
When you go in the legal section, you don't know, man. It's what are they trying to trick me? I'm going to go in here and they're going to have cuss words. Man, there ain't nobody there to cuff you.
Ain't no doubt.
You know, and I'll tell you, the security dudes, they are just the
Man,
ast
they
gentlemen you
adorable.
ever want to
They
meet,
are adorable.
right?
man. They're your neighbor. They're your
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Them the guys that you sit at the table with,
Yeah.
at the bar, at the restaurant. These guys is regular guys. And oddly enough, how you mentioned that, one of them, I can't think of his name, that always be by the lead door by the judge.
Mm.
But he made a comment. He said, you know what feel good, William? And I say, yeah, man. He said, I'm seeing different faces every year.
Oh,
So
Okay.
that's getting the word out there. That's getting something
Yeah.
that you keep seeing the same people over
yeah,
and over and over. That's not taking accountability.
yeah.
We got to take accountability.
Yeah, and another really cool thing when you're talking to the judges is, again, I don't want to say specifically which judge, but I had the opportunity to speak to one of the judges and was told about traumas that they had gone through, which shaped their future and their future endeavors, their future choices of what they wanted to do. And she said that she believed that she could help people the best
Wow.
in that position. Right? So, you know, there's a further trauma
Yeah, ain't no
going
doubt
before
about
a
it. Yeah,
judge,
absolutely.
right?
As you grow,
I mean,
it grows.
Man, I heard, if I hear my judge's name, bro, it's like, what? Who do
Oh my
right?
goodness.
You know, I've been sentenced.
I heard that before. I ain't been there yet. I tell people that all the time, even T.
Yeah.
I say, man, how can this happen to you and you get a little weary? He say, man, that trauma, it's on me.
Yeah.
It's on me. So
Yeah.
I get it. I most definitely get it.
Yeah.
most definitely get it.
We were talking about it earlier, bro, and talking about my buddy and you know, the lack of programming in the federal institution right now is very, very sad.
But really
And-
the institution, period.
Yeah, all of it.
It is,
all
absolutely,
of it, bro. You know, because they're not college campuses,
Ain't no
because
doubt
they're
about
not behavioral health
Absolutely,
facilities. They're boxes that they are just warehousing human beings in who aren't being treated like human beings. Because, you know, we talked about it last week. We would get them the medical stuff that they
Man,
need. If they have
absolutely.
cancer, if they have
Absolutely.
hepatitis C, we would get them the treatments that every other American is afforded.
Yes, sir.
if they're not locked up,
Yes, sir.
right?
I would like to make rather a personal shout out to Mr. Meeks, man,
Come on.
because Meeks pulled me to the side and said that I'm starting to feel more at home when I'm at work. I don't think it's much of a more gratifying feeling that you can wake up and go to work
Yeah.
and feel like you at home.
Wow.
You know, he accepted people as their brothers, his sisters, his
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
and was like, "Hey man, you want something to eat?" And I was like, "No, man, we here to do some work, man." He said, "Well, we got a food truck over here. Come on over here to this food truck and get you something to eat, man."
Did they have some catfish,
And
bro?
they had some catfish. Absolutely. So I'm telling y'all boys now, what y'all missing? Yeah, I'm throwing it in y'all face. Y'all missing this catfish. Y'all missing it. But best believe that it's there for you, and it's going to always be for you here at Fresh Start.
What about
'Cause that's what we're gonna do for you.
What about sports clips, bro?
Sports clip put on as well, man.
Is
I
that
got a little
crazy?
taper in the back, man. Listen, I got a
Hey,
little
bro,
taper.
60, 65 haircuts?
Man, listen.
Easy, man. There was a line all day. We had to
Sure
cut it
was.
off
Yeah, we had to
because
cut it off.
there were
Yeah.
so many.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, man. And you walked in there, and every one of them was smiling,
Sure
bro.
was, man.
Every one of them, and all the dudes and the girls that were getting the haircut, they were smiling
Mm-hmm. They were
too,
smiling
bro.
too. Absolutely.
Just a really cool atmosphere there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole day and the way that it was spread out, where the resources were, the judges were, and we had that little center section where we were able to talk to people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
We had a prayer table there.
Yes.
How cool was that?
That
That's
was
the first time we had that. It's not imposing on people.
Mm-hmm.
They were sitting back, and if you came to them,
Come as you will.
Amen,
Come as
bro.
you will.
Right? Man, we had moms bringing their kids. We had grandmothers bringing their
Oh
grandsons.
my goodness. Yeah, this one grandma, as you just said, it was 4 generations, man.
Wow.
It was 4 generations.
Yeah.
So to have this girl, I think she might have been 7, 6, 7, was like, I like this. I mean, 20 years from now, she'll be 27 and she'll say, dang, this is something that I came to and this is something that helped me in my development.
Mm.
So that's something that we need to look forward for,
Yeah.
especially with Fresh Start. Man. Fresh Start is doing other things with communities that we able to build bridges with certain organizations and agencies, that it is allowing us to be able to be transparent in what we're doing and giving them the opportunity to see some of the impact that we're making in the community, that we can impact lives.
And what's very cool about Dr. Holt, about us, we give people the opportunity to be themselves, to be their organization,
Absolutely.
be what your organization does, and we'll support you in that. Because there's a whole bunch of people in reentry, transformative justice, behavioral health, MAT services.
Yes.
All of those things that are becoming like more essential because people are starting to understand through the people who have lived experience like us saying, this is what it's like.
It's like,
Right?
oh my goodness.
So you don't know because you've never been there, but you read a book and you saw a movie, so you think that's real. And that's not real,
No
bro.
doubt about it.
If you want to hear, I used to tell my family all the time, do you want to know what prison is like? Because if you ask me what it's like, I'm going to tell you, but you're not going to want to know.
No doubt about it.
Okay? So probably don't ask. And let's just have the world that I have inside, the world that you have outside, and the world that we come together in visitation
Absolutely.
or on the
Absolutely.
phone. Let's just have
Let's keep that.
Okay?
Let's keep
and
that.
let's leave this where it belongs, in here. And that shouldn't be necessary, bro. And here's the thing. We saw it just the other day. There's been a release of a videotape from one of the prisons of an inmate being assaulted by a couple other inmates with locks and belts and socks. And this assault goes on for several minutes. And during the whole video, which is filmed in the pod, through the bathrooms, through the day room, out onto the yard, across the yard,
Wow.
and this whole thing is filmed with an illegal cell phone. And the whole time, bro,
Not one correctional officer.
no staff.
Not one.
I mean, thank God that guy didn't get like downed and he was able to get back up
Absolutely.
and run. you know, because he suffered some damage, bro.
Absolutely.
He was bleeding pretty bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I don't know what it was for. I don't care what it was for. You guys shouldn't be doing that in there.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt.
You know, you should have your mind on higher things. You should have your heart on higher things. You should not be looking at what anybody else is doing in there. You should be taking care of what you're supposed to be doing. You know, be ready so you don't have to get ready. So right now is the time for you to get ready. Okay? So when they release you that day, you will be ready.
Man,
Were you ready when you walked out, bro?
The day before, I was ready.
Wow.
The day before.
I can't imagine never expecting to ever be released.
Yeah, having a sentence or having something on your back, man, that you know that you could potentially never see this side of freedom is something that a guy don't take for granted. And I apologize to the family every day I wake up.
Wow.
You know, so this ain't don't just impact me.
That's real.
But this impact the community.
Yeah.
This impact the police. This impact the legal system. This impact their family. This impact my family. And just because a guy turned the page don't mean that people was affected by something.
Right. It doesn't
So,
take that away.
Absolutely.
What happened?
And that is something that I want to be able to emphasize and be able to something that I want to inject into families moving forward, that we can create some type of platform for a family to know that moving in and coming out, that these guys have a platform, that they have something that they can depend on. Because a lot of times when they can't depend on nothing, they go back to what they used to depend on, which is what got them in the box. They got them in the box.
Yeah.
They got them in prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
bro.
one more thing, T, I talked to a Muslim brother that said, man, I heard y'all for the first time, man. And I wanted to ask you, is it possible that I can come on and talk, man, and visit the radio and see what's going on for the Muslim community? And I said, let me talk to my man. But this ain't no race-based nothing. This is free enterprise to be able to explore and develop new relations with new people.
Bro, as you know, I'm a crazy Pentecostal.
I ain't no doubt about it. He said that the right way.
I'm a crazy Pentecostal, and Dr. Holt is a Baptist minister, you know, but he's also a doctor.
Ain't no doubt.
Bro, it does not matter one bit what your belief system is if you have something to add to the solution that we are looking for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I believe it doesn't matter what religion you are, what faith you are, what belief you are.
Or race,
You have something to offer this story.
As you said, that influence. Everybody got that influence.
And you know somebody that has influence. You know, it's like we're talking about the Rally for Reentry. And the Rally for Reentry is coming up on July 19th. And Saturday, July 19th. It's going to be during the day. Early, too. I'll get the stuff out on Fresh Start International Facebook and on the website so everybody can see it. We're trying to get as many of these organizations together on that day so we can start working toward the same goal. You know, we just recently, you know, we've been trying with legislation and to get voting rights restored, to get cash bond fixed. The NAACP and the League of Women Voters are huge behind this effort, and it hasn't happened. And we just had a huge breakthrough, bro, that we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about legislation that when you get released from prison, your rights are automatically restored in the state of Arizona. And when we had this conversation, bro, it brought tears to my eyes because you don't think this kid who had a gunfight with TPD, you know, and did all these years in prison is ever going to be even a dot on an I, bro. A dot on an I of some legislation that is going to change the lives of every man and woman leaving the Arizona State prison system if it gets passed.
Absolutely.
Right? And there's 24 states that already have it that you automatically, when you're done with your parole, probation, all of that stuff, bam, your rights are restored. You don't have to file. You don't have to go before a judge. It took me over 2 years, bro. At first, it took me 2 years to get the nerve to even talk to them. Then it took me another 2 years to get it done
Oh,
because
my
they had to consolidate all of the cases. After 4 years of my release, I got my rights restored, and I get to go vote, bro. You know, I could not fathom, you know, what we
absolutely, yeah.
could do.
Absolutely.
What we could do if we had all of the votes of the people that have felonies and are disenfranchised from voting because of those felonies.
What's that
If we-
number? What's that number?
It's
You
over
got a number?
200,000 in the state of Arizona,
Wow.
and there's no election.
Wow.
You could change every election,
Absolutely.
every proposal, any mandate, anything that is on an election ballot, bro, could be decided by those 200,000 votes in the state of Arizona because there's so many people that don't vote,
Absolutely.
right? We care about how we were treated. We will have an opportunity to change the way that we were treated if we use our voice to get our rights back
Mhm.
and start to vote. And why not vote for people who care about the futures of those who are being locked up? You know, like Denver talked last week about juveniles. We finally figured out it's not good to
Absolutely.
lock up juveniles.
Yeah, come on.
When did you get locked up? At 14?
14.
14 to 18, you were like by yourself, right?
Yes.
Jesus, bro. How do we treat other human beings that way that are children? You know?
Mhm.
And how many men did you know in prison that were mentally children, bro?
More than I can think of.
Right? And how many men did you know, bro, that the slightest challenge and they snapped because it was a trigger?
Wow. That's so big, man, because it be those guys that we say we trust.
Yeah,
Why? Because it felt like it was real,
yeah,
but that was the trauma that was real.
right.
That was the abuse. That was the attention that they wasn't getting. And the only way they could expose it is by putting it out there in a negative way because they felt like that's how they can get the attention.
And I've always said, bro, that I don't believe that the murder is the trauma. I believe you got triggered into an environment that made you cause that, you know, that made you inflict that because you had no control over the environment and you just got drawn into it.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're screaming
sense.
about it
It most definitely
constantly,
makes
bro.
sense.
You know, we got to deal with the issues that put us in the place, that put us in the place, that put us in the box, right? Put us in the cage, bro. And then, how long did you do? 40? What 30?
40.
40 years. 40 years. I did a little over 28 years. And then, you know, if you treat somebody like an animal for all those years and then they get out and they act like an animal, why are you surprised?
Absolutely. If they walk like a duck, look like a duck, and quack like a duck,
How many brothers you see come back while you were in? That's got to be a big number, bro.
man,
Because my
It's-
number
it's-
is huge.
it's they start changing their names, T, man. Serious, man.
That's
I
why.
know a couple of guys and got out and came back, and the guy told me his name was Ed, and this. It's like, okay, man. But it's a different experience now, man, because this is something that they don't have in Michigan,
Mm.
and it's something that I want to create
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, we're going to get
take.
it there. We're going to get it there, bro. We're going to get Fresh Start everywhere because we know Fresh Start is absolutely essential, not only for the legal, but the legal is
Yeah.
super important, bro. When we can clear up the background and we can walk into an environment where questions are going to be asked, we can feel
You
confident,
can feel comfortable. Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're not going to bring it up because you can't bring it up.
Exactly.
Because it's gone. It's
Exactly.
sealed. It's expunged. It's restored. You can't bring it up. What do you got, bro? Talk to the Fresh Start
Well,
audience.
I would like to say, man, before we depart, man, that we got a couple of different things on deck. Bridging Futures,
Mm-hmm.
Deborah House, which
Yeah.
is something that she's really putting
so
together.
excited about that.
The Fresh Start will be accompanying with these programs, and we're trying to unite something, hoping to get Dr. Holt a part of this to where we can do a sit down and be able to do something together.
Remember, check the website. This is fresh-start.international, okay, is the website. And then go to Fresh Start International on Facebook. We have everything posted there. All the events are posted there. All of the shows from this radio show is posted from YouTube on there so you can see us talking and cutting it up. Thank you. God bless each and every one of you. Start your day with a fresh start.